Good afternoon, YouTube. Today we are working on a Honda Shadow 1100 1998. We're going to be doing an oil change, final drive, fluid change, and then fork seals. So to start it off, you're going to put your kickstand on a either a 2x4 or 2x6 piece of wood, just to bring it up so that the bike, you can see the bike is sitting level. That way you can drain everything out and you can see what your reading is for filling. Okay, the drain plug is right down in there, right here. It's a 17 millimeter. So I'm gonna do that and then I'll come right back on. Okay, while that's draining, we're going to do the final drive. Final drive is right here. It's a hex, 6 millimeter. So this is going to be the drain spot. We only put, I believe it's 220 milliliters back in, but we're going to drain here first. And then we're going to take off the oil filter, which is in a strange place. I'm going to show you. It's back down under here is the oil filter, facing to the rear. Okay, so I'm going to drain this, then I'm going to take off the oil filter, and then all the fluids are out, and then we're just going to fill the fluids out, both of them. Okay, next step. Okay, so after draining out the final drive oil, this is the fill port. Okay, it's a 17 millimeter plug, but it's a really big opening. So it takes, I looked it up, it takes 130 milliliters. So we're gonna use this right here, and we're gonna fill it up 2.5 times. This goes up to 60 milliliters, so we'll fill it to 50 twice and then fill it to 30 once, and then we'll just squeeze it in there. That's the easiest way to do it. Okay, so I'm gonna do that and then I'll come back on. Okay, one word of advice before you start filling the final drive: make sure the bike is up on that block so that the bike's level, because after putting in 50 milliliters, it's gonna start pouring out. So you have to stand it up straight, and you're gonna get all 130 in there, and it's just gonna start weeping out. All right, the next step is we're gonna take off the oil filter. All right, so we have final drive was drained and filled. Oil has been drained. We're gonna take out the oil filter and put the new filter on, and then fill the sump up. And then we're done with the oil change service, and the final drive service. Okay, next step. Okay, so the old oil filter's off. The new oil filter, make sure you take a fingerful of fresh oil and run it around that gasket on there so you get a good seal. And then you just run it up in there and put it on. Hand tight, no tools, just tighten it hand tight. Otherwise you'll have a hard time getting it off next time. Okay, so we have the oil filter on. Oil is drained. Drain plug is back in. Final drive is drained and filled with 130 milliliters. And next we're going to do the oil, which is, I believe, 3.8 quarts or 3.6 quarts, something like that. Okay, next step. Okay, so we're doing the oil now. Make sure you get a good filler, a good funnel, because you're in tight to the cylinder, and you want to have enough room so that if you overspill or over pour, you're not going to spill out with a short funnel. So use a tall funnel. Put a rag just in case you have some spillage. So this is going to take 3.3 quarts. All right, we're starting with 1 gallon. So we're going to start pouring it in. Okay, so we're all done now. So once you have the oil filled up here, and it took almost 4 quarts. It said 3.3 in the manual, but it took almost 4. It took like 3.6 or 3.7. Run it for like 2-3 minutes, then let it sit for like 5 to let it all drain back down. So you want to fill up the oil filter, and you want to get it all in all the nooks and crannies. Then this is going to be your gauge. So you have the bike sitting level, sitting upright, and you're going to test. There's marks on here. There's hatch marks on here. You just take it out, unscrew it, and it has hatch marks on it. Okay, so that's how you check it. So fill here, check here, drains a 17 millimeter on the other side. Final drive is a 6 millimeter hex nut on the bottom, 17 millimeter fill hole on the top, 130 milliliters back there, almost 3.7 quarts in here. So that's it for those 2 services. All right, Mike Machines out.